everyone, today I'll be sharing my tips for how to study productively. I'm sure we all want to do really well in school, and studying is one of the key aspects in doing so. However, some people, including myself, have trouble focusing or making the most out of their study sessions. And so over the years, I've learned a lot of strategies that help me study more productively and get the most out of my time. Some people may say that working and studying hard is the best method, but studying for hours on end can be really exhausting and maybe not as effective. I think the best way to study is to study smarter, not harder. So these tips work really well for me, but there may be some that may not work as well for you since everyone functions differently. So please test them all out and see which ones work for you, and if some don't really work out for you, I think you should continue to test out different strategies and tips and find the best method for yourself. Anywho, I hope these tips, or at least some of them, may help you in any way, and you know what, let's just get into the video. So my first tip is to get into the right mindset. It is found that how you approach something matters most as much as what you do. It is very important that you should be in the right mindset in order to study smarter. You should aim to think positively when you sit down to study and try to avoid catastrophic thinking. For example, instead of thinking, I'm really terrible at chemistry and I cannot even score a passing grade in exams, just try to think I can score better grades in the exam if I study daily, and earlier grades don't matter since I'm going to study better from now on. My next tip is to prepare your working space. I find that working in a cluttered area is really distracting and it isn't as enjoyable to study in. Before doing my study sessions, I try to organize my workspace and make it as clean as possible. That way I can focus on the task at hand and my environment makes me feel on top of things. Your study space should be quiet and comfortable. It should always be free from distractions such as the TV, places of social gathering, your computer, etc. Your study space should make you feel inspired to study. You can decorate your surrounding walls with your favorite pictures or inspiring quotes. My third tip is to ensure your study session is at your optimal time. What I mean by this is that we all function differently, so some students may feel comfortable studying in the morning while others prefer nighttime. You should work out which time suits you best and then plan accordingly. You should not study much later than your usual bedtime though, which will make you feel too tired to study. For me, I find that I am most awake and focused mid-morning after I do a workout. Exercising is a way for me to clear my head and get some movement and oxygen going to the brain. My fourth tip is to equip your study area with all the materials you need. Materials such as pens, pencils, all relevant notes, dictionaries, paper clips, calculators, water, etc. should be kept handy. This helps you to study with better concentration without any interruption. You should turn your phone into silent mode or turn it off completely during your study time. You should pick up calls only if they are important, otherwise you can ignore and reply to them later. If you just can't bear to turn your phone on silent and completely shut it off, I have another method for you. I use this focus app called Flora, which helps you and your friends put down the phones and be present. You can plant a seed with friends whenever you want to put down your phones. As you focus on what's more important, the seed will gradually grow into a healthy tree or some sort of plant. But if anyone can't resist using the phone, exits out of Flora to do something else, to scroll through things like Instagram or Snapchat, your tree or your plant will be killed. I know it's kind of violent and sad, but it kind of works for me. You can use Flora when studying together in a class or meeting room, or at any time you wish to enjoy your real life. At any time, you can use the Flora Real service to plant an actual tree on Earth, and this will help cool down our planet. Plus, this app is free, so it's a win-win. If you are interested in downloading the app, I have a link in the description box below. My fifth tip is to prepare a schedule and stick to it. You should try to keep aside certain hours of each day for studying, just like you do for sleep and nourishment. When preparing a schedule, keep several factors in mind. For example, the schedule should be achievable, more time for the difficult subjects and less time for easier subjects. The amount of time required for study differs from student to student. It completely depends on individual's skills and his or her ability to grasp concepts. My sixth tip is to take breaks. It is really important to take regular breaks when you are studying. If you're feeling tired or frustrated, then you should definitely take a break. According to research, if you take a break every hour to 2 hours of continuous working, your performance at study will be tremendously better. If you're working too long on a task, then it can gradually decrease your performance. When you take a break, make sure that you are away from your study area. Typical activities recommended during your break are talking to people, doing physical activities such as walking, running, or listening to music. Activities such as watching television, scrolling through your phone, playing video games, or sleeping should always be avoided during break time. Breaks can also help you look at a problem differently, and it can even help you solve it in a better way. Just a little side note, this is also where the app Flora can come in hand to prevent you from going overboard with your study sessions or to prevent you from looking at your phone during your breaks. My seventh tip is to teach what you have learned. If you have studied something, then you can test it by explaining it to someone else. Using this technique has helped me better understand concepts, and I think it will also help you revise your knowledge of the concepts, and also the person to whom you're explaining will be able to learn whatever you're teaching. So another win-win situation. My eighth tip is to try to stay motivated. Every person has a different source of motivation, and for some, looking at an idol is inspiring, reading quotes or watching inspiration talks is a boosting factor, etc. When studying, I try to keep in mind the reasons for working so hard, and I believe this helps me to keep me going through my study sessions and staying focused. My ninth tip is to drink plenty of water. Staying hydrated is essential for your brain to work at its best. Drinking water and the brain function are linked with each other, so lack of water in the brain can cause problems such as poor focus, brain fatigue, poor memory, headaches, depression, insomnia, and the list goes on. According to scientists, around 70% of your body is composed of water, and every function in the body is dependent on water. This includes critical activities such as the brain and nervous systems. Last but certainly not least, my 10th tip is to snack on brain food. Of course, you can snack on other types of food, but I find that what works best for me is snacking on brain food. So it is found that what you eat can really have an impact on energy levels as well as your mind. You should always keep your body and brain well fueled by choosing nutritious foods. So foods such as fish, milk, nuts, seeds, yogurts, green leafy vegetables, blueberries, etc. are rich in nutrition, and it has been proved by scientists that eating nutritious foods like that can improve concentration and memory. I find that if I don't have enough fuel in my body before studying, I feel kind of weak, dizzy, and thus I cannot focus when studying.